Greetings everyone, Rejnols here. Today we're gonna start up a little series that I've been cooking up called 20 Turns Ass. Not 20 Turns Ass.
Are you sure about that?
The idea behind this series is that basically there are so many legendary lords in Immortal Empires, and sometimes it's really hard to know which one to pick.
Guys, stop. You're giving me too many options. I'm only one man here.
So I figured I'd go in, play 20 turns, make a funny little video out of it, and let you all see how they play out. Now this isn't gonna exactly be a guide or a how to play as, but while I am playing, I am gonna share my thoughts and say why I'm doing things. So perhaps if you are having a hard time playing as this legendary lord, you'll learn something new or something that you can probably maybe improve your campaign with. That being said, it is gonna be partly, hey, let's have some fun, and partly guide. In any case, I figured we'd start off with one of the new legendary lords from the Champions of Chaos DLC, and who better than everybody's favorite bloody waifu, Valkia the Bloody.
No.
In terms of settings, for those who are tryhard, I'm gonna play on what I'm always playing on, very hard campaign difficulty and normal battle difficulty. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Alright, we're in the game, and let me just quickly cover all of the new mechanics that's in the Champions of Chaos DLC. I'm not gonna go super in-depth with them, just gonna quickly talk about them. First of all, one of the biggest and most important changes, in my opinion, are these sites called Dark Fortresses. They actually allow you to construct a fortress like you would normally have with almost any other faction, which was something that the Warriors of Chaos seriously lacked. So every settlement that has this icon next to it will be able to be built into a proper fortress where you can recruit stuff and have an army, a garrison, all that good stuff. Something new is that you can also take over normal settlements. However, when you take over a normal settlement, such as this one, all you'll get is a tier 1 fortress, or rather camp, I suppose. And you can never upgrade that beyond tier 1, that is only for the Dark Fortress sites. However, it can be nice if you're deep in enemy territory and need some more replenishment, and settlements that have different small special buildings, such as gold or silver, will also unlock some unique benefits for your army, usually army-wide actually. Our next mechanic we need to talk about is the Warband upgrade. You'll find the button down here, and you can highlight certain units to transform them into better versions or different versions of what they currently are. For example, these Marauders of Khorne, I can go ahead and turn into Marauders of Khorne with dual weapons. If these weren't Mark of Khorne, I would also be able to use the undivided version of these. You can kind of pick and choose what you want. The way the upgrade system works is super simple. You have your unit. When it's a high enough level, you can upgrade it to the next tier of unit. So you never have to like create an army, then go back to your capital, spend a bunch of turn recruiting better units, and then head out again. You can simply keep playing the game, and once your units hit a high enough level, then there you go, upgraded. For your non-legendary lords and heroes, you will also have access to something called Path to Glory. Now, Cormac is a unique hero, so to speak, so he only has access to devote to Khorne. But for your average hero, you can decide to devote to the god you're playing as, or you can stay undivided. And last but not least, we do have Gifts of Chaos. I need to go ahead and take the settlement before I can show this. But in short, you spend a new currency called souls to go ahead and activate these buffs. And they then cost some souls to keep going every turn, but they give your faction or specific units benefits. Alright, that was a lot of talking, very little playing. So let's get into it. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take these Marauders and upgrade them to dual weapons. The reason why I do this is that they only lose 6 melee defense, but gain 12 weapon strength and 12 charge bonus. And they're just ridiculously cost efficient. You can see they cost basically the same. It's like 34 more upkeep for the Marauders with dual weapons, but they deal a lot more damage. They are more vulnerable to missiles, but in general, I have found that Marauders of Khorne with dual weapons always outperform the Marauders of Khorne. Also, in our starting army, we already have Chaos Warriors with swords and shields, so we don't really need more shields, we need more damage dealers. So you can highlight multiple units at a time, then choose what you want to upgrade them into, and then go ahead and hit the upgrade button, and boom, you're done. Next step, we're gonna go ahead and take Cormac into our army, because we're gonna be fighting 2 battles this turn, one against this army, and then one against the settlement. Close victory, but as you all know, you need to fight these early battles to have the best chance at a successful campaign, because the auto-resolve and how many casualties you take is, questionable. Alright, we're all set up for the battle, and for some reason I thought I could draw with the tools, but I'm not sure what they are. Are they only available when you're playing co-op? Maybe they are. In any case, the plan here is very simple. We have our beautiful Marauders and Chaos Warriors on the ground alongside Cormac, right there, smack dab in the middle, and they're simply gonna be approaching this host of Drugi over there. Valkia soaring in the skies, she is an anti-large duelist. Now from my testing, she doesn't actually perform too well against single entity monsters. It widely depends. defense. Against legendary lords, such as Kolek and Scarbrand, she gets absolutely murdered. But she's quite decent at taking on monstrous infantry, such as trolls or Kroxigors. The final piece of the puzzle for this battle are the War Dogs as well as the Skull Crushers over here on one flank. They'll simply approach from the side, and what I think I'll be doing is I'll use Valkia to draw the attention of the archers, and they will come in with the Skull Crushers to absolutely destroy them. Alright, so we're just waiting for the main force to approach before we start attacking. Valkia is absorbing a little bit of missile fire here. It is just Black Arc Corsairs with handbows, so they're not as scary as, say, Dark Shards. Looks like we're about ready to brawl. Valkia gonna go into the Corsairs right here. The dogs are just gonna keep chasing around. Alright, we're positioning ourselves for a very nice charge onto some bleak swords here. Absolutely beautiful. Skull Crushers are gonna be your MVP of the early game. They are so freaking strong and gonna help you win a lot of battles if you learn how to use them appropriately. And with that, we claim victory. No worries, basically no casualties anywhere. Now, in Immortal Empires, you earn a lot more experience than you used to, so your lords generally get to be pretty powerful pretty quickly. What I like to do for Valkia is that I start off by focusing on her red line, giving some melee attack to my marauders. We are Khorne after all, we're all about sticking in combat, and when we're there, we want to punch through whatever we're fighting. However, as always, you take Route Marcher level 1, because if you don't, you're just silly. For Cormac right now, we are looking to make him a fighter later on, but we start off by giving him the training trait, because as you know, we do want to level up our units so we can get those nice upgrades. Speaking of upgrades, there's also technology to help you boost the experience gains of various units. We're going to be using a lot of marauders early on, so let's go ahead and grab that one. And then finally, let's go ahead and look at the warband recruitment and see what we have available. In here, depending on buildings you own and a lot of other factors I'm honestly not 100% sure about, there will be a chance for various units to appear. And these can be recruited kind of like Raised Dead or Regiments of Renown. You just click them, and then you press the recruit button, and they are in your army. Now, this basic marauder is obviously not worthy to be in our army, so what we'll go ahead and do is we hit the warband upgrades, head over to the Khorne tab, and change him into Marauders of Khorne with dual weapons. Alright, now is the battle for the settlement. Once again, you can auto-resolve this. You will win. We will not lose any units. But the auto-resolve will probably give you more casualties than if you just played out the battle. But we'll just quickly go ahead and do that. So what I'm gonna try and do is I'm gonna have part of my army over here, part of my army over here, and part of my army over here. And they can then link up as they see fit once they get around. We are outnumbering our enemies, and having them spread out obviously means that we'll have a bigger chance at winning decisively compared to stacking up in one place and fight in these small quarters. So the biggest thing we have to worry about here are towers and dark shards. Dark shards have armor-piercing missiles, and we are of course Khorne, which is fairly slow. That's why I've deployed the dogs alongside with my smaller units. Wait, why are they running away? What could possibly scare them so much that these brave Druki would run from battle? I'll tell you who it is. It's the freaking Blood Boys. Go get 'em, champs. So yeah, just use your dogs or harpies if you have those to tie up the enemy ranged units. That way you are guaranteed that you will win the battle because you will outperform Dark Elves in melee. The only thing you really have to worry about are those armor-piercing missiles that can come from Dark Shards or various other ranged units. And then also keep in mind that you are a slow faction, so you do need to get there first before you can actually start dealing the damage. But once you arrive, oh boy, will the Druki wish they didn't mess with you. But these dogs can't really get through here, so I'm actually just gonna go ahead and send them all the way around. And if your dogs rout, don't worry about it. They most likely did their job. Either did enough damage that the archers aren't as threatening anymore, or bought you enough time for your melee to get into combat. Such a cool kill animation. Oh, and then the Skull Crushers come in to finish the job. Oh my goodness, that was just demoralizing. They saw their friend get impaled and then slammed into the ground, and then the rest of them just got rear charged by the Skull Crushers. And I just quickly need to say again how good these Marauders are. I know it's not completely comparable, but look at this one. 120 kills, 6,700 damage dealt. Compared to our Chaos Warriors, who only did 1,900 damage. And yes, as I said, it's not completely comparable because these are a damage dealer unit, while these are more of a tank unit. But for how much the Chaos Warriors cost compared to Marauders, they are absolutely peak performers in the early part of your campaign. Alright, so now we won this settlement battle, let's go ahead and occupy this Dark Fortress. fortress, as we are going to be occupying it, we will also vassalize the nearby Norscan tribe. So no need to go ahead and take a settlement first, then go fight the Norscans. If you take a dark fortress and there is a Norscan tribe nearby that hasn't already been vassalized, it'll automatically do that. So now we have a dark fortress, and Hmong, I think they're called, right? That is correct. The Hmong boys are now our vassal. In the dark fortress, as I said, you kind of have the normal buildings as you would in any other campaign. My recommendations for this first one is always to go with the income building as well as the growth building. This will help kick things off, and this place is fairly secure for the first couple of dozen of turns, so you shouldn't worry about anyone coming and taking it from you. You can also issue a commandment here. This obviously varies with how you're doing and what you're doing. I tend to just early on go for the Khorne corruption one, because you want to bring up that corruption to increase control and cause attrition to enemy armies. And now I can go ahead and show you the other new mechanic for all Chaos Warriors, which are the Gifts of Chaos. The outer circle will represent whichever Chaos God you are aligned with, so in my case it's Khorne, while the inner circle is for Chaos Undivided. From here you'll have a choice of different buffs and benefits to give your army. It costs a certain amount of souls to activate it, and then there's an upkeep afterwards. In my case, I'm using a lot of Marauders. I want them to replenish, I want them to be strong so they stay alive, so they can rise in the ranks and become chosen at some point. We'll go ahead and take this run. Now the amount of souls we have right now is slightly low, so I'm gonna go ahead and skip out on the Khorne gift for now, but we'll come back and activate one at some point. The next couple of turns is gonna be pretty straightforward. We're at war with this Dark Elf faction, so we're just gonna go ahead and wipe them out, earn some experience, money, and souls along the way. Do remember to check out the warband recruitment every turn to see if anything has been added. In my case, I was unlucky, didn't get any Marauders. I can check in again next turn to see if there's anything for us to recruit. So it turns out I'm just really unlucky apparently, because I still didn't get anything added to my warband recruitment pool. But hey, what can you do about it? We are in range to go ahead and attack Ashrak here, so we'll do that. Finally, a decisive victory. Finally, I can hit the auto-resolve button so I don't have to play the game. Now this is where things get a little bit interesting, because here you have some choices. You can start sacking to earn some bonus experience and a little bit of money. You can raise to earn some souls, or you can occupy it to get a small replenishment base when you're entering into enemy territory. In my case, I think I'll go ahead and occupy it. I'm probably not going to go ahead and spend any money on upgrading this. We could go ahead and build this one so we can start recruiting some Marauders, which would be pretty nice. We can always upgrade them via the Warband upgrade system. Alternatively, we can go ahead and take the Twisted Relic building to get some more souls. All of these are decent choices. It's more what you think is the best one. I will say I would never build the Warband camp. Yes, you do add a few more units to the garrison, but as I told you earlier, you cannot upgrade these smaller settlements beyond tier 1. So the settlement garrison is going to be fairly pathetic no matter how many things you put into it. So I'd really just ignore this building altogether and focus on either one of these three, or if you are in a city that has something special, such as this one over here, which has wine, those buildings usually will give you a buff that's actually quite decent. Seeing as we have as many money as we do, I will just go ahead and take this building. It'll take one turn to build, and then I can start recruiting some Marauders. But after that battle, I am also lucky enough that a few have appeared in the warband recruitment, so let's go ahead and grab some of those. I figure we'll go ahead and grab a Marauder Horseman as well. They're quite decent. Marauders of Khorne with dual weapons. And this Marauder Horseman we can leave as is, or we can turn him into the maybe not better, but way freaking cooler Marauder Horseman of Khorne with throwing axes. Now this is a super noob tip, but I'm gonna give it anyway. If you can't reach where you want to go, which in my case I'm gonna go to the Chill Road and attack that settlement, but if you don't have enough movement to do it, then don't leave your own territory if you can make it next turn. Just walk up to the border of your territory, which can be indicated by these slightly vague lines right here. And then while you're in your own territory, you will be replenishing just a little bit. We don't really need it too much here, but in case you're taking some more damage, it would be nice to have that extra turn of healing. Let's go ahead and add yet another Marauder to the roster. We can never get enough of those guys. They are just so freaking efficient early on. A simple victory against this minor settlement. We'll go ahead and auto-resolve it. Once again, we have a choice of occupying, sacking, or raising. In this case, I'm gonna go ahead and raise it. I don't really need the replenishment right now. And do remember that Valkia regains a little bit of her campaign movement after each successful battle. So even after raising, normally you won't be able to move, but with Valkia you can. Now, vassals aren't perfect. However, I do think they work a lot better than they used to. One thing I do like to do with my vassals is you can now give them the order to go ahead and occupy a target. So for example, this city that I just raised, the Chill Road, I want my vassal to take this to create a small barrier between me and the Dark Elves in case those guys want to attack me. So I'll go ahead and give Gorax, that's an interesting name, the order to go ahead and occupy the Chill Road. In the meantime, we'll go into encampment stance just to replenish the little bit of damage we have taken, and then we'll walk our way down towards the Great Arena. That's classic AI. They are on the brink of extinction and they know it. They want peace? Well, let me tell you, Khorne isn't exactly known for mercy. Let's do indeed go ahead and claim some skulls in this battle by auto-resolving. Yay! As always, do remember that if you really want to keep your army as healthy as possible, go ahead and play out the battles. Now I think is the time that we go ahead and start sacking a little bit to get a little bit more money as well as experience. The next turn we can choose to either raise the Great Arena or occupy it for some replenishment. But as you can see, with our Boons of Chaos active, we are regenerating a lot of health on these Marauders, which is what is mainly taking damage in these auto-resolve battles. So, a bit of an opportunity has presented itself. The enemy army is now targeting the one settlement that we decided to occupy. And you know what? If they attack it and we lose it, I don't care. It's a tier 1 settlement, we spent 1,000 gold there, got what we needed from it. But now they left their capital slightly open to attack. So what we can do is we can walk all the way around this city right here. We can then attack at the Great Arena, auto-resolve the battle because it should be easy enough. And now when we raise it, we should actually move towards their capital. And let's see, do we have enough movement to attack? We barely do not have enough movement to attack, but that's fine. We're right next to their capital now, and we're forcing the AI to make the choice between coming back to help defend, or go ahead and attack Ashrak. Well, they decided to put a siege on in Ashrak, leaving their capital completely exposed to a charge by Valkia the Bloody. Let's go ahead and add a unit of Chaos Trolls to our army, just so we are as strong as possible, and then we can let the siege begin. Do remember, we're fighting a walled settlement. They have archers and they have towers. Khorne, not exactly fast. We will win this battle even without any siege equipment, but I will recommend that you go ahead and just build one Chaos Siege Tower. I know, it takes a turn, it's annoying, but it actually helps quite a lot getting some units up on the walls, and in general makes the battle just that little bit easier. It also, for some reason, dramatically helps out with the auto-resolve results, so I'll try and keep that in mind next turn when I show you how it looks. Right now it says Pyrrhic Victory and medium casualties. We'll see if that changes next turn after we're done constructing the Chaos Siege Towers. Another test for our allies. We can either choose to wound this character but give him a bunch of experience, or we can get +5 melee attack. Or is that actually for them? That might be for them. You know what? Let's just go ahead and wound this one character, give him 2,000 experience. That'll rank him up a little bit. Cool thing to remember is that you can actually do warband recruitment while you are sieging. So let's go ahead and grab yet another Marauder. And let's see, the auto-resolve battle have not changed at all. Casualties are still medium. So let's go ahead and play a siege battle. Alright, the battle is underway. I'm attacking on 2 fronts just to, you know, spice it up a little bit. Be sure to put your shielded units in front so they can absorb any missile fire that might come their way. Also remember, Valkia is a flying unit. Use her to go ahead and disrupt any missiles that you don't want to be shooting at your units. So for example, these Dark Shards over here, they probably can't actually hit anything. So for now, I think I can just chill with Valkia for a bit. We are stuck a bit here because they grouped up some Dark Riders, but honestly, they kind of fucked up themselves. Because obviously now they're kind of stuck in melee and they're going to take a ton of damage, not really being able to charge in or out. Same thing over here, ready to charge in. Oh, and if you're wondering why my dogs and all these guys are standing over here, obviously it's a siege battle. They don't really have much to do. I can start moving them up a little bit. They can maybe chase off some units that end up routing. But the area is a bit too cramped for them right now. Valky's just going to continue flying around, disrupting ranged units. And once we've cleared the front, the dogs can actually come in and also take care of some of the ranged units. Let's see if it'll be needed. You might actually just win the battle before that's actually a thing. Oh wow, Cormac, what the hell are you doing? How did you get all the way here? Oh boy, well, there's some archers we can take care of, I suppose. Alright, Valkia, looks it's time for you to duel out with the Dreadlord. See who comes out on top. Hopefully you, otherwise I'll be slightly disappointed. You guys just start walking in. Valkia has taken a little bit of damage. She might actually not have as easy of a time fighting. She looks like she's winning pretty nicely. Let's look at some of her animations. She is really freaking cool in battle, flying around, doing charges. Yeah, that's a nice little slam right there. There goes the enemy lord, and yeah, now we're literally just playing cleanup. I have a few units over here, but they aren't long for this world. Yep, and there comes the army losses. A nice, quick, little, easy siege battle. They aren't really as bad as people say they are. It's more about how often you have to play them. I totally get that. But yeah, I just don't think I mind as much as other people. And yeah, the value on Marauders are just so freaking good. The damage they put out for what they cost. I just love them. I just love them. They're my special little boys. They're just so happy to get in there with their dual axes and just murder and maim. We'll go ahead and occupy this building to get a small replenishment base. We can also construct the cultist camp, which will give +2 Khorne corruption in all regions. So normally this would be gold you could use to increase the amount of money you earn from trading. But for Chaos Warriors, they give different buffs depending on what it is. For example, I believe that the wine over here gives +5 melee attack to Marauders. And that is faction-wide. So that's really good. Alright, start of turn 12, and yes, they did take over that one settlement we had, but as I mentioned before, I don't really care about it. We can go kill them now and they'll be wiped out. We've also gotten the quest for the Scarlet Armor. This is one of Valkia's quest items, but you don't actually play a quest battle for it. You simply have to win 8 battles, and you don't even have to win 8 battles with Valkia, it's just 8 battles in general. So yeah, things are looking pretty nice. We don't have any more Marauders to recruit right now, that's fine, we can keep these as are. Are any of these ready for an upgrade? Yes, this one guy is, and he's going to become the Chaos Warrior of Khorne with dual weapons. That's our first Chaos Warrior with dual weapons. He's basically just, you know, better version of the Marauders, right? So the Marauders have less armor, less leadership, a little bit more speed. And right now they do actually have a little bit more melee attack because of the different buffs we've been giving them. But as soon as you switch over to some other buffs that's focused on Chaos Warriors, then the Chaos Warrior is obviously going to be better. That being said, do keep in mind the upkeep. Marauder of Khorne we're paying 132 upkeep for, while we're paying 230 for the Chaos Warriors of Khorne. You do get a unit that is very much harder to kill because of all the added armor, but do remember you are paying for that, so there's actually nothing wrong in holding on to your Marauders for a little bit longer. Speaking of Gifts of Chaos, we haven't accepted one from Khorne yet. I think we'll go with this one, Dev's Bounty, giving us more income from post-battle loot as well as more income from raising settlements. We still have so many Marauders that this one still makes sense to keep, giving the +8 melee attack and 10% replenishment for Marauders. Alright, our allies took over the Chilled Road as I asked them to. I am now going to go ahead and ask him to also go ahead and take the Great Arena. We are also going to be taking something over, something that belonged to us, that's been stolen. Classified as a close victory, we could play out this battle, but it is a minor settlement battle, and you know what, we are nearing the end of the 20 turns, so I'm just going to go ahead and auto-resolve. You should probably play this battle yourself if you are planning to play a full campaign of Valkia. In my case, it's a little showcase, you know? Not even that much damage suffered, so, I mean, that was actually a much less brutal result than I thought it would be. And I think we'll just go ahead and exterminate them by occupying this little settlement. Now we've unlocked a really cool and very strong unit known as the Knights of the Brazen Throne. They're a new regiment of renowned skull crushers of Khorne, and they are amazing. Also destroyed Grant. And now, it's more or less just up to us what we want to do. From my experience, Malekith is actually not nearly as strong as he used to be in Warhammer 2. In Warhammer 2, he would have, like, strength rank top 5 throughout the entire campaign. But these days, he's having a hard time. He has more enemies than before, and things just aren't as easy for him. So we could go ahead and annihilate Malekith, make sure he never gets off his feet. Or we could head towards the east and try and confederate some more Norscan tribes and move towards the Empire. I think the correct move is to try and secure your area here. The best way of doing so would be taking down Malekith and then Helebron. Maybe consider taking Helebron first. That said, I think we'll go to war against Malekith rather than Helebron. So if we want to take down Malekith, I figure we just start at the top and work our way down. We could also maybe get a sneak attack in on Naggarond while no one is protecting it. We'll move cautiously towards it and see how things turn out. So Malekith is sitting inside Naggarond right now with a pretty full army, so perhaps we do start up here and then work our way down. Maybe set an ambush to try and catch his army off guard. We have many ways to approach this. I will be recruiting the Knights of the Brazen Throne, but I'm gonna wait until next turn, because there's no reason for me to pay 500 upkeep for something that I'm not gonna be using. So I'll wait until the last moment for me to recruit these, and then we can start it. It probably was there in the Realms of Chaos campaign, but I definitely noticed it much more here in Naggarond, where everything is white. But as the Khorne corruption is spreading, the water inside the ice here is starting to turn into blood. You can see it here like pussing and spewing out lava as well. This is a lava blood lake. That's absolutely disgusting. Alright, let's go ahead and add those Knights of the Brazen Throne to our army. We now have 2 units of Skull Crushers, one of them which is just, woof, absolutely insane. You can compare the stats here. They have this ability called Murderous Charge, which gives them like a bunch of bonuses that you want on a cavalry anyway. So while they aren't that much better in terms of stats, they get this ability alone makes them so much better. So we'll walk towards Har-Kaldra and we'll see how Malekith reacts. He's probably gonna be a little bit angry, just a little bit. During the end turn, the dwarves over here, Grim Brundle, I think his name is, decided to declare war on us. That's obviously a very stupid decision, but I'll take them on. I am sure Khorne doesn't mind some short skulls in his collection. But what I think we'll do is the same thing we did last turn. Let's go ahead and take on Malekith here. He is joined by Hackgrief. I'm not too worried about that right now. A nice little decisive victory for us to start off. We'll go ahead and sack it for now. Take some money, get some experience. And then what I think I want to do is I want to go into an ambush here. Let's see if we can find a place with 70% ambush chance. Doesn't really look like it, so we'll position ourselves around here. Go into ambush, and then maybe we can either catch Grombrindle or one of Malekith's armies on the way over here. Well, it looks like Grombrindle just want to sit in his little town here and mind his own business, and I guess I can allow him to do that. So what we'll go ahead and do is we'll just go and attack Harkaldra again. We'll do the same trick as I did over at the Great Arena, where I position myself in a way where after I fight and race it, I'll run the direction I want to go. There we go, and race it. And I guess this time I just didn't move. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure how that works. Sometimes you move, sometimes you don't. It all works out in the end, though. We'll just take a few steps in this direction, thank you very much. And we'll take our Vassal and say, go ahead and colonize this ruin I just made for you. Looking at our recruitment options, we have another Marauder joining us. There we go, we finally have a full 20-stack army. The dogs and perhaps the horsemen should be replaced sooner rather than later. For now, they still serve a purpose, so I don't mind having them. We can take our Dark Fortress up to rank 3 now. And you've probably noticed throughout this video that our income isn't great, but we don't really need income. What we need is a big treasury. And that's also why I've invested in Gifts of Chaos and skills and other stuff that will increase that amount of money we earn. We'll take one turn in encampment stance just to top the health off of our units, because if we are laying siege to Naggarond this early, and there is an army somewhere around here, we do want to be at full strength. That being said, I don't see Malekith anywhere, but he could be over here and we wouldn't know.
It's free real estate.
Well, it looks like everyone left home, so let's go take a step closer before we declare the attack to see who's nearby. Did they really all just leave Naggarond? Did Malekith just accept that he couldn't handle the Khorne lady? Well, I mean, yeah, we can auto-resolve this. Again, you should probably play this yourself, but you can totally auto-resolve this. And you know what? Just for science, I will. Yeah, that wasn't even too bad. That's like totally acceptable. And just like that, we've taken on Naggarond. Now the question is, do we sack it for the money, occupy it for a healing base, or race it so Malekith cries? I think we'll occupy it. It's good to have a settlement or two in enemy territory so you can replenish. And it looks like Malekith at least has these 2 settlements. He might also have something inside the mountain range. That's hard to know. So I finally dedicated Cormac to Khorne, so now his skills are reset and he's replaced with some new skills actually. One of those new skills is the Raging Stalwart. You'll only get access to this at rank 7, but it gives you 10% extra spell resistance for the entire army that Cormac is in. He also gives himself 5% ward save. If you've been paying attention, then you also know that the Mark of Khorne already grants you some spell resistance, so stacking this on top of it brings about every unit in the army to 25% spell resistance. And now I know that the AI isn't like the best at casting spells, but it does matter in some battles. And after those battles, it looks like our Marauders are ready to be transformed into Warriors of Khorne, so we'll go ahead and take these 3 and upgrade them to Chaos Warriors with dual weapons. We'll take 2 of these and transform into Halberds in case we need some anti-large. And then we'll keep these 3 guys as is for now. So this was technically only 19 turns, but I think it's a pretty good place to stop. Because, you know, next turn we would just like walk over here. That's about it. But yeah, I don't think this was a bad show for Valkia. In 20 turns, we've been able to wipe out the enemy faction we started at war with. We've also taken over Naggarond. We are at war still with Malekith and Grombrindle, and it looks like the Khorne might be declaring war on us sometime soon. But I feel like we're pretty well geared to take on multiple enemies. To round off the video, let me just show you the skills that I've invested into Valkia as well as Cormac. As I said at the probably very beginning of this video, my usual route for Valkia goes something like this. I start off by taking Route Marcher and then going into her red line to max out the melee attack for my infantry. After that, I go ahead and put 3 points into Ruination. This just helps with the siege battles, and God knows there are a lot of siege battles, so when you do encircle them or you do spend a turn or 2 building some siege equipment, well, they'll take some more attrition damage while you're laying siege. And then as they become available, you should of course put points into her own personal skill line. There's some really good stuff in here, especially the Risen Again in case she does die, but also the Blood Raven, which gives you a lot more money for winning battles. And finally, Sword Maiden of Khorne, giving her regeneration and demonic, so she never routs. For Cormac, who I did upgrade to an Exalted Hero of Khorne, giving him a new spicy look, I went ahead and spent 1 point in Chaos Strategist, 1 point in Blade Master. His mount has unlocked automatically, of course, and then I'm gonna put some points into Hard to Hit, because he already has pretty good melee attack, so buffing up his melee defense just seems a bit bit more obvious to me, but you could also invest some points into melee attack to just make him hit every single time. In my Dark Fortress, it is currently working on its way to become tier 3, and yeah, I believe that's about it. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was fun, useful, both, whatever the case may be. Let me know in the comments below. I'd really appreciate some feedback. And while you're down there, why don't you let me know which faction I should play 20 turns as next time. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and until I see you again, I hope you have a wonderful time.